Hi, it's me, KURB. Wait, this doesn't feel right. Okay, now we're talking. Welcome once again to this mental asylum I call a YouTube channel. I know you're wondering right now, why does this video exist? Aren't you going to make a full video related to all of Justice? Yes, but I feel like this precisely needs to be its own video as I believe it to be so important to the whole EN lore. And also, editing another 20-minute-ish video will be torture, so this is one way to lessen my load of work. Now, let's move on to the topic of today. Elizabeth Rose Bloodflame, Harbinger of Order and Leader of Justice. What do we know about her? Actually, very little. Judging by a lot of what we know due to her character bio and lore drops on streams, we don't get much lore. That is, if we were not searching hard enough. I do believe Elizabeth is one of the most interesting characters in the lore due to her origins and hidden lore that's almost always up for interpretation rather than actually being super straightforward. And while my plan isn't to give a whole ass presentation on Elizabeth's lore, because that will be for the full Justice video, I'm here to tackle a big lore dump, which is her cover of Love Song by Natori. We'll get to know about her whereabouts prior to joining Justice and her relationships that made her who she is today. Are you ready? Let's dive in. Before we get to the cover MV, I wanted to talk about the original song and its concept and how the MV portrays a really tragic tale between two people forced to be separated and now yearning for each other, not knowing they cannot be together again. Love Song by Japanese singer Natori talks about the cycle of love, how it's filled with beauty but also comes bearing with the sadness, the heartbreak and the pain of an ended relationship. That everlasting longing for that special someone, and when it finally arrives, so does the paranoia and misunderstandings that may lead once again to the breakup and continue this cycle. But for every loop, you, as a person, learn and yearn more for that perfect devoted love you've always dreamt of. The music video helps setting the tone, giving us a protagonist whose experiences with love have been tumultuous. The grey imagery representing the commonness of an ending romance. The candle being put out, that fire, that passion, dying, but being lit again, representing that cycle of loving. It's a really beautiful song, and its meaning will hit hard to those who have had similar experiences with love. And Elizabeth truly delivered with her cover, vocally and lore-wise. She presents to us this new character whose race seems to be that of an elf, although not totally confirmed, I think. And with what we know now about the song itself, it's not trying to tell us only about the existence of this person, but also who they were for Elizabeth. Seeing how the video puts both Liz and the elf in the same poses as the protagonist in the original video, I'm positive there's a timeline to follow here. First is the meeting of these two. Who is the elf? Like, not in general, but like, where are they from? What makes them special? Well, this is where I make you look closer to this new character, like, really closely. Okay, not that close, but don't they remind you of someone? How about we go back to an event so crucial to the lore that happened last September? That's right, ENigmatic Recollections. To cut it short, ENigmatic is a roleplay adventure where all 19 girls were transported to a new world with their memories wiped. And now, it's the responsibility to save the kingdom of the Vestal from the things that terrorize the villagers. It was a great event with so many iconic moments. I highly recommend watching it again, you know, before season 2 eventually drops. But the biggest thing about it was the fact that to help them regain their memories, they needed to complete dungeons based on the people summoned. This event was filled to the brim with lore, and the members themselves added to it. Some more than others, but especially our beloved Scarlet Queen. Elizabeth had established herself as a knight serving the king, meaning she was quite protective of him. If you decided to watch her streams live, you must have seen her starting soon screens. If you didn't, the brief rundown is that there were little self-drawn videos calling back to stuff like Liz certain to protect Mokoko or her comforting Kiara. But most importantly, a memory of the king, where his image began twisting and formed a human-like appearance, or elf-like. My theory isn't that the king is her elf friend, but since her memory was wiped, her duty as a knight and her loyalty became stronger than they already were. All for the king. All for them. She already said,
"My king shall be the only one who lights my path."
as the image of the same candle that we see in Love Song lights back up, meaning that only them can light the fire inside her heart. She sees everyone as nothing more than pawns, with her being the loyal knight. Searching through the comments in the original video by Natori, I've stumbled upon this particular one that kinda summarizes Liz's character here.
In the second verse, the narrator has dreams and memories that they struggle to forget, suggesting an unwillingness to let go of past experiences, to hide their true selves behind lies and await the arrival of someone, possibly a loved one, remaining devoted despite everything feeling different.
It's that devotion that's speaking through Elizabeth in that moment. She is still waiting for them. That's why throughout the entire first chapter, Elizabeth was always so devoted to the king. It's because she saw her friend in him, and she won't hold back to whoever tries to harm them. I believe that the elf was also part of the royalty, due to their design and its little details like the crown on their collar, or them being based on the king of the Vestal. Which brings me to the not so happy end of the story. With the elf being in such a high position of power, enemies were guaranteed, so they ended up either disappearing or worse, dying, maybe due to a war of some kind, a raid, a coup. The kingdom/village ended up in ruins, as seen by the broken down statue in the love song cover with greenery already covering it up, as it has been ages since then. All of this with Elizabeth being one of the only survivors, and now forced to wait for them. Forever. Wow, that got dark real quick, goddamn. Anyway, that's mostly the premise of what this theory entails. The events that partake between what happens after this to her joining Justice are unknown, but we can possibly say for sure that these dudes are responsible, as they always are. Before ending the video, I wanted to point out that yes, this story weirdly enough could have a connection to that of Shirokurooo's novella's lore, with the biggest similarity being that a certain elf dies tragically. Are these elves actually intertwined, or were they from the same kingdom? We know elves exist in this universe thanks to JB member Shirokurooo Flair, so maybe Elizabeth and Shiori are more connected than we think. And don't get me started on the fact that Justice are the only ones in the end that are so adamant on calling IRL places by fictitious names like Frisia or Immerheim, while the others do say US and Germany. There are talks of alternate universes, and while I do agree having to tackle this here would be wrong, probably will happen after the Justice video unless they debut another group, but that won't happen, right? Right? Hololive, please say I'm right!